In the meantime, a Virginia state trooper was a husband and a father of 2 children. He was shot dead at a Greyhound bus station during a police training exercise in Richmond.
If you see some suspicious activity, go over and engage and have a conversation. And that was what was taking place here. And very early stages of the conversation is when the other subject pulled the weapon and shot Chad multiple times.
I had my hand on the door handle when I heard 2 gunshots go off. I didn't think there were gunshots, but then there were like 5, maybe 10 more after that. And I could see the muzzle flash through the tinted door, and so I ran out of there.
There was a confrontation between Trooper Chad Dermeyer and the gunman, identified as James Brown III from Aurora, Illinois. According to reports, Brown had an extensive criminal record. He fired at the trooper point blank. Other officers shot back and killed the gunman. Here's part of the 911 call of the incident.
On scene in the Greyhound terminal, multiple victims. This is going to be a mass casualty, working incident.
According to the suspect's aunt, Brown had a lot of anger about the police in the past. With me now, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke. Sheriff, great to see you back. Thanks for being here. How do you see, as somebody who serves the population where you are, this string of shootings that target police?
Just rips my heart out every time a law enforcement officer is killed in the line of duty. That is the 3rd law enforcement officer killed in the line of duty by gunfire in 2016. That is a 150% increase over this time last year. What has happened is criminals have always had a run-first mentality, but that's been flipped with this war on police and some of the inflammatory and irresponsible rhetoric coming from some high-profile people in the United States. Yes, I'm talking about the White House, and yes, I'm talking about President Barack Obama, who has led the chorus. He doesn't cause these things, but he creates a pathway where now criminals no longer have a run-first attitude. It's a shoot-first at the police attitude and run second.
Do you think it's because you're saying that the White House discourages people from taking personal responsibility?
Well, no, he said some irresponsible things about the law enforcement officers. In one interview, he said that our law enforcement officers have a fear of people who don't look like them. He said that the law enforcement community has institutional racism, that they treat blacks differently, that the criminal justice system does. It's irresponsible rhetoric because there is no data or research to support that. Him, along with his previous Attorney General Eric Holder, invoking this racial profiling and this driving while black nonsense. Again, no data or research to support that.
And but Sheriff, we take you at your word. You're there and you're in your community. I want to actually continue that another day because it's a very big and important topic. I just want to ask you, while you're here, Trump rally lawsuit, 3 people claiming they were attacked or faced racial slurs at a Donald Trump rally, and they are now suing him and his campaign, I should mention. So the lawsuit filed Thursday on behalf of 3 protesters from a march, the first rally in Louisville, Kentucky, alleging that Trump encourages an atmosphere of violence. So I don't want to ask you about the legal ramifications, but what do you think of candidates being able to be sued for tone at his rallies? I mean, he's not responsible for every single person participating, right?
Right. This is politically motivated, obviously. This is to discredit Donald Trump because he's the front runner right now. Look, these 3 individuals, I don't know who they are, but they weren't protesters. They showed up there to agitate, to provoke, and to incite. And then when they get a response, they try to play victim. These are riot starters. They go there, like I said, to create a disturbance, to shut down speech, to shut down people's participation in a rally to participate in our process of determining the next president of the United States. All politically motivated. This won't stand up. But it's just a shame that this is what politics is denigrated to in 2016.
So, Sheriff, when you are dealing with local events where you are, do you know ahead of time when there's Craigslist? Because there's a lot of people who say, listen, protesters, they go out and recruit, whether it's social media or in certain restaurants or certain pubs, but they are trying to get a mass movement.
Sure, agitators, and they use a bunch of disparate groups because each of these disparate groups don't have enough on their own. These are cop haters, these are anarchists, these are criminal element, these are rowdy juveniles, there's some misguided university students, some Occupy movement, and there are some well-intentioned people in this group, but they're being used. We monitor social media sites. We get a lot of information from the public beforehand about recruiting efforts. We monitor, we follow up on those. There's nothing wrong to recruit for a rally like that. But we take a look at who these people are associated with, and if they're one of the members of the groups that I just mentioned, cop haters, anarchist groups, people who've been arrested in the past at these types of things for, trying to incite, provoke, and shut down rallies, and we take additional steps. But we monitor this stuff all the time. It's our responsibility to do that.
Sheriff, thank you. We love having you here.
Very
David
welcome.
Clarke.